I wonder if this is going to be an idea in the future. Hey everybody, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis. Last time we finished up the Dungeon of Kanto 2, and this time we'll be doing ourselves some Mirror Dungeon. Our introduction to this. This is... I don't know exactly how long this will be relevant for. I do not know when the next Mirror Dungeon is coming out. I'm recording this the day after the roadmap livestream, and ironically, they didn't show a roadmap. They explained at least what they're all doing, but I don't know exactly when it will be coming out, the next Mirror Dungeon. So what I explained here might be wrong, but to start things off with how Mirror Dungeon and the team setup works, everyone has 5 points of a rest bonus. And basically, once you finish a dungeon with them, you will lose all of your rest bonus, and that'll reset to 0. What that is used for is these starter bonuses right here. You have a bunch of selections that each cost some of your bonus, and each are pretty decent. That said, I'm going to go with Perfected Possibility. Interstellar Travel isn't necessarily the best, but it is my favorite at least. We'll go with Binary Star Shop and Star of the Beginning as well. From here, you'll get a selection of different keywords. All the main keywords are here, and you'll get different ego gifts for them. Ego gifts all have their own different effects. In terms of what we have, Blunt has some of the worst ones. We're actually going to go with Rupture, I think. And you can see them. Because we selected one of them, we get 2 selections. You always get 1 by default. And they all have their own different effects. We'll pick up the Barbed Lasso, which will, at the end of turn, will give extra Rupture potency on all enemies, based off of the current speed values. And then on a Lust Absolute Resonance, you'll get 3 potency and 3 Rupture shot to a random enemy. Meanwhile, they flash their lamp. Enemies are adding melee parts with Rupture, you get damage up, or haste on a random ally. You do that with the amount of enemies that have that +1 times per turn. Once you enter in, you get a selection of different packs that you can choose. These all have their own different effects, or not different effects. They have their different combat sets, their own different reward sets as well, which we can all see on the bottom here. There are 2 different versions of it. There's normal and hard. On normal mode, everyone will be automatically leveled up to level 50. However, you will not have access to certain gifts, certain packs, and you will only get 1 reward. Meanwhile, on hard, you will get 2 rewards from a selection of 4. You'll have more packs, etc., etc. You see all of them here. There's also the refresh. You would get 1 by default because I picked the 1 pack. We get a few more. In terms of what we have here, we're going to grab the Outcast. Also, because we choose the 60 pointer, we get 1 of these level 3s on here. Standard Dude Battery, I think, is one of the best ones out there. You just inflict 3 Rupture on 3 Rupture potency when hitting someone with any skill whatsoever. Afterwards, we'll see a little path here that has a bunch of different markers on them. Up top, there's a little star. That is your cost. Costs we will use in the shop. I will explain the shop later. So of course, the markers on the bottom, that shows what they are weak to. And in addition, there is the marker itself. The little sword is just a regular thing of combat. A question mark is a random event. Right there is the boss fight. That's the shop. There are 2 more things that we'll see later on. This is also our introduction to chain battles. We also will have 6 people for this, because this is based off of Kanto 7. So this is actually very nice for us. We can select everyone in here. Yeah. We can just move along. There are a few more enemies here as well. Enemies will also be at level 50 as well, by the way. But, yeah. The way the things work for chain battles is that if someone dies, then the next person in line will come in. Of course, we also have retreat identities, so if they retreat, that'll also put the next person in line up. unlike in most dungeons, your SP will always carry over. There's no typical rest spots in there. You will regain all your health at the end of a floor, but you will not lose your SP from that. You still do, of course, keep all of your ego resources. That is the same thing there. All your ego resources will remain, and yeah. We're still at some very easy things. This is definitely because we have the option to have, instead we're in a chain battle, we could show off some of the retreat possibilities, but well, yeah, fuck it, we'll do it. The events go as such. You'll get, well, it's just like kind of your typical events in a mirror dungeon or in any normal dungeon. And I think I will do them, the logs of seal. A field of white, yet somehow dark flowers is ahead. The sky is red, the air windy and bleak. One giant flower flows amidst the field. There's a person waving from afar. Now this is an infamous one. We are going to wave back to win the battle and get 2 eagerness. You wave for all nostalgia in an instant. All the flowers went to wash with red, simultaneously turning to face you. After staring into us for a little while, the red petals flew at us, like she was punishment for making a half-hearted gesture. This is an infamous abnormality. The drenched Gossypium. Now, the reason that it's infamous is because of one of the ego gifts that we'll get later on, the white Gossypium. White Gossypium is, I forget exactly how it works, because I never picked it up because it is goddamn awful. The main thing that we need to know about it is that it prevents enemies from being staggered. It adds a lot of bleed on them, but it also prevents enemies from being staggered, so we actually don't want that. This thing alone is the reason why you are allowed to deny to pick up ego gifts. And I believe there was something that was added in to just ignore this fight entirely, because everyone fucking hated it. I will read out the observation logs right now, however. I believe all of these are Heathcliff. Yes, this is the Heathcliff one. Oi, got a few things to say about this batch before I get to the report. What the hell are these good-for-nothing content Gossypium shite coming from? Well, not that I ever expected stamina noise to ever be helpful, but these things they give us from time to time, they're supposed to be gifts, no? What kind of gifts help our enemy keep their balance no matter what? They're just taking the piss out of us. Sorry, had to vent a little here. You understand, yeah? Anyway. It looks like a tree with a massive bundle of cotton on it. Appearance-wise, it doesn't look like any different from last time we ran into it. This got added in one of the repression railways, and then I think the Abner log was added in once it got added to Mirror Dungeon. Or, I don't know exactly when the Abnormality log got added in, or whatever. Waving, luring to us to approach, same shite, different day, eh? In the center, it's red, like it's sucking the blood instead of water. On the side, it's got wriggling stems, roots, whichever it is, it's bloody creepy. Pretty obvious play, innit? I'm pretty sure those vines are there to poke holes in us like straws and suck the blood out of our veins. It's time to transport that can do anything like that. Like us. I think I want to wait. Yeah, I want to wait for a little bit before I continue on with the reading. That's just the level 1 reading of it, level 1 log. Just because the further on is based off of its second phase. God damn, really? We're getting very unlucky here. Oh my god, we're getting so unlucky here. It's going incredibly well. But we are going to just keep on at it. It is unclashable there, unfortunately for us, but well. It's a big move. Just slam them down. I don't know if I mentioned this, but sinking on enemies without SP just does flat gloom damage. So, that's neat. I think it's gonna recover from the stagger when it switches, because I think it's switching phase next turn. Yes, the Drenched Cassipium now is red stained. If you knew that the vines couldn't be cut, then why did you? Never mind. Don't seem like we can stop these vines by cutting them clockhead. Not even sure if we can cut them, in fact. Can't help it, there's no way to avoid getting punctured by these annoying things. Damn, it's a chilling sensation of getting my blood sucked right out of my veins. It ain't pleasant. Not to mention this thing begins to turn red if it sucks enough blood out of us. When it does turn red, expect to use a powerful attack against it at any moment. Better finish it off before it tries anything. Suppose it's easier said than done. It's not like we can pull these straws off us once they hit us. Only way to beat it is to beat it into submission like the fluffing leaf cotton inside a pillow. What option have we got? In level 3, according to common sense, plants with deep roots and a good supply of water grow to be resilient. I remember that somebody once told me that common sense doesn't often apply to abnormalities, yet here it is. An abnormality that common sense does apply to. Blimey. Trying to figure it out, though. It'll well up whoever has the most of these straws in him. I've had the pleasure of first-hand experience with it, so I'm quite certain of that. I want to hear something funny. Little Shet gives gifts that somehow help our enemies never get staggered. Reading living daylights out of it seems to stagger at no fuss. An absolute muppet. I have to kill it when we have the chance. If we miss the chance, I have no idea when we'll get a second one. Point is, don't dally. I think you fancy me. No clue why, but keep jabbing me with a straw of vines. Yeah, I do love the fact that they acknowledged, even in the abnormality logs, that White Cassipium's fucking awful. I do mainly have Bleed on my main account, as part of being in Season 5 when I started. And that was the Bleed season. And it's so bad. White Cassipium's so horrible. It's the absolute goddamn worst. With the staggered enemies unstaggered, then 8 plus stagger level times 4, bleed potency, and offense level down. Like, sure, that's cool, but it usually means about, like, 30 bleed potency, and a lot of times you can get really high up on your potency anyways. Oh shit. It's a dark city shape, but the buildings are well lit. It appears that they are powered by the massive buzzing cloud at the center. The cloud has a head and 2 pairs of legs. It resembles a sheep. The electric sheep seems to be in pain. It's being siphoned of power. We'll cut the cables. The building's blacked out in an instant. The electric sheep dashed off into the distance, propelling a thunderous cry, and what town weeps of lightless filled the air. Tiny Hutch rests where the electric sheep once was. The dreaming electric sheep. This is one of your starter slash gifts. Extra slash power when defeating an enemy with either slash or envy. I'll probably end up, at least early on, skipping these. The fights do get a little bit more difficult later on, but early, they're very easy, so I'm just going to skip past these. Yeah, it's a very easy fight. Normal mirror dungeons are very easy in general. Once we get to the shop, we can start spending things. We, of course, have our cost up here that we can use, and that is, well, just your currency. Your gift has a certain level to them, which the main thing for the level is not only its cost, but also its fusion. You can fuse up to 3 gifts together in order to make something just a little bit better. For example, we'll go with Rupture, we'll add in our White Cassipium, our Dreaming Electric Sheep, and our Tangled Bundle, which will give us a 90% chance of a level 2 Rupture gift, which would be the Ebony Brooch, which is unique to the Outcast, as one flip rupture potency and counts to all enemies at the start of the encounter, as well as 2 bind to all enemies for 3 turns. The extra things that we can do, we can enhance gifts. Certain gifts can be enhanced to be a little bit better. For example, this one will, what is this? Instead of +1 times, adds +3 times. Meanwhile, for the Barbed Lasso, current speed value +1, as well as on less absolute resonance, adding extra potency to it. Kill your sinners. There are 3 different options. 50% for 1 person, 20% to everyone, and a revival. Team is that you can switch out your allies, either their ego or their identities, as you need. Sell gifts, go figure, you can sell them. Initially, if we go up to recipes, we see that there are some unique gifts that depend on certain, exact combinations will get you certain things in general. I think the only one we can get right now is this one. Obviously, the rest are hard. I know this one is unique to a pack that is very late unlock for us in terms of Rupture, because that's from 752, I think. There are also refreshes up here. Refresh is cheaper than keyword refresh. Sorry about that. Keyword refresh, you can refresh by keyword. Go figure. We'll grab the Talisman Bundle. It's the same. It's a weaker version of the battery. And then Bone Stake, extra Rupture against Rupture does extra damage against shields. I didn't go into replace skill. Replace skill. Get this. You can spend some cost to replace your skills. Either a 1 into a 2. A 2 or 1 into a 2, a 2 into a 3, or a 1 into a 3. And all of them are, well, more expensive than the last. Go figure. This does mean that if you get the correct RNG in order to have the correct things line up enough, it is entirely possible for you to have a kit that is all skill 3s. Again, you do have to get a little bit lucky with just the correct center showing up in the shop for the change skills, but yeah, it's not bad. If you have some really strong skill 3s, you can just make everything a skill 3. After you finish up certain fights, you'll get this encounter reward, which will give you a certain different thing. They have different levels of rarity, and there are 5, I want to say, different effects. There's gaining cost. There is gain less cost, but a chance to just randomly get a gift. There is getting a gift itself, getting ego resources, random ego resources, and getting ego resources of the least owned type. I'm just going to grab cost. I personally never like grabbing the chance, just because I feel like it always fails. It's the Balatra Wheel of Fortune. Also at the end, we see that there are the gifts that we had before, but there's also these mounting trials. As you level up, you'll pick different things that will give you different, options. All of them will level up the enemy by at least 1, some of them will level up by 2, and give another effect on top of that. I'm going to grab this one, mainly because it's the last thing I have. Even when you're on a hard mirror dungeon, it doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. What you pick, just pick the best available, but when you get to hard dungeons, later on especially, it does kind of matter what you pick. A little spooky guy here is an abnormality. A little gem here is an elite encounter, and that will be against tougher opponents. They'll give you extra money as well as give you a random key. Ooh, that's weird. This is a fight available right now, but whatever. But there's a little box next to the cost indicator, which is saying that, well, we have the ability to that we'll get a random item for it. And that's part of the reason why there is the, again, I mentioned with the Cassipium, that there is the possibility of refusing a gift, and it is because people don't want to pick up White Stain Cassipium. Or just White Cassipium. Yeah, just White Cassipium. We have a lot of Gluttony, which, to be fair, Gluttony is very good for, Gluttony is very good for Rupture as well. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but each sin affinity, or each sin, does have a loose correlation with a different status effect. Again, it's very loose. It's nothing like, it's not guaranteed. Prejudice. At the start of an encounter, you heal 50% of your max HP on the ally with the lowest HP, and Private Residence will do the same. The barren mudflat reeks of salt and rot. The little jade-colored seawater is left there. It doesn't seem to have anything inside. A giant clam walks before you. With each step it takes, it sprays a fetid green muck. Is this clam the source of contamination, or is it working to contain the filth? We are going to fight it. Throw the green substance in. You grab the green substance and throw it into a glass bottle, and jump to the giant clam's maw. Perhaps you caught it off guard by throwing a bottle full of filth in its mouth. The clam spits out the bottle and begins crashing through the filth in your direction. What is this thing actually called? I remember. It's the Ambling Pearl. I should be able to read all these out. Select green clam, right? Oh. Okay, actually... whatever. It's... Whatever. Remember those trash crabs? Like the green slime and the ocean smell, you know. It looked and acted like a clam, I think. It had these eyes that were shut, these shells that were shut tight. The clams I've seen didn't have arms or legs like this one, and they weren't as big as this one. We had to wait and see for a bit before attacking it, and the shell would open up. There was a stone, gurgling, bubbling, green liquid was spilling up, and oh. Yeah, there was some weird larva-like things in there, and there's a mark on the page. Something wet dripped here and dried. What's this? Where did lad go without finishing the log? If by lad you refer to Sinclair, I witnessed him leaving hurriedly to the deck. I could tell from his pale countenance that he was, like myself, suffering from seasickness. Ah, bloody hell, that's disgusting! Closer observation otherwise it reveals that it's perspiration, a vomit. Do not worry, this will not have a negative effect on the claim that started the records. Fow, I didn't need to hear that either. It's actually kind of weird. This is referencing stuff all the way up into Canto 4. Or no, Canto 5 rather. So, whatever. The shell was too durable. We shot at it for ages and it wouldn't break. It's like our attacks were doing nothing. Oh, I did try something though. So my halbert's pretty long, and I thought that maybe I could wedge it between the clam's shells and try to twist it open by pressing it down. I learned in school. What was it again? Like a counterweight and a lever? No, it didn't work though. All I managed to do was break my halberd in half. I think I learned something from my experiment. The shells, when the thing's shells are shut, the green slime seems to gather around it, making sure that the shells would stay shut. So we couldn't open it. I was able to tear off some of the slime at least. Maybe getting rid of those slimes could help us open it up and attack its softer parts. Why do you not record the part where you flailed wildly with broken piece of your halberd, soldier? How is that relevant? It's pertinent information. Despite your ineffectual attempt at drawing the attention, there are larvae from the entities effluvia and set up to attack allies that are in a better state than you were. This was a meaningful discovery. However, your meaningless struggle with an ineffective weapon could have been part of this record as well. Merceau, false, come on. There was a pearl inside the clam. I don't even know if it was right to call it pearl. All I saw was that odd twinkling light inside the bubbling toxin. Oh, well, I'm sure that twinkling light is this abnormality's core. It's a shame we had to suffer so much before getting the chance to attack its pearl, because I'm starting to understand now. Or maybe you've just grown used to it. We don't have to sacrifice ourselves to solve anything, after all. Glad you learned to say something new, kiddo, but how about this? Say, like, not just standing around in an emergency? Time to call about it. Why, we all died because you were busy celebrating going, I did it after getting the clam to gob open. Sorry. If you couldn't tell, it's written by Sinclair. Ambling Pearl is a little bit of a weird one. It's not particularly difficult, I don't find. But I have seen a lot of people have difficulty with Emerald Pearl in the past. But again, it's one that I don't find very difficult. It's one of the few abnormalities that I am always confident in win rating. I've just never had difficulty with them. Emerald Pearl's always been one of my easiest abnos. I don't know. Yeah, that's just something that I do love about Limbus, that there is... Also, there's the green slime. It plays poison. Very rare status is poison. I believe the pearl is... Well, the pearl is definitely, you know, easier to crack than the shell. I think shell actually just takes less damage in general. I think as a passive, take less damage. Ah, well. But yeah, it's kind of weird that we actually have access to a number of things that are later Kantos. Like this doesn't show up for a while. There are packs based off of later Kantos that are not unlocked until we beat those Kantos. Well, you'll gradually get more content as you go in. Sticky Muck. When hitting an enemy with Pierce or Gluttony, inflict defense level down. And when a target with Tremor Potency is defeated, you inflict half of that to a random enemy or part next turn. Also, there's a little box showing that we get a new Ego gift. Bigger abnormalities will always give you 2 gifts. Each abnormality has 2 gifts assigned to them. I think, right? Yeah. Also, weird that we have access to this as well. This is post-Kanto 5 stuff. Oh well. It's fine. Like, that stuff where, yes, technically, Mirror Dungeon very early on does give spoilers, but they're so minor of spoilers that I don't really mind. Yeah, it's fine. This will get us Blue Zipper Letter. Blue Zipper Letter is actually amazing. It's one Gloom Resource... 2? What's it, 1 Gloom Resource or 2? 1 Gloom and 1 of 2 other affinities. Ego Resource Generation is really, really good. Go figure. And Zippo is 3 per turn, which is really nice. I'm gonna be real, off the top of my head, I was about to say, I don't know of too many good Gloom Ego, and then I remember Fluid Sac exists, which, like, how the fuck did I forget? Yep, Fluid Sac exists, because Fluid Sac is amazing. Oh yeah, I just replaced that one skill. No, that's what I thought. We'll grab the Prestige card. The Prestige card will make our Ego gift purchases in here cheaper from now on. Which is, of course, quite nice. I don't think we'll need Painkillers. Painkillers is a really good thing in there. We're gonna sell the... sell that to pick up the... hold up. Actually, hold up. Hold up. Oh, even better. Do we have enough to get us 100 without really compromising too much? I actually don't think 4-leaf clover helped us out much. Because we have to get poison in the first place, which is very possible to, but I think what will help us out is getting Ragged Umbrella, as well as the Thorny Rope Cuffs. And this will allow us to get a new one with the Rope Cuffs, the Talisman Bundle, and the Battery. Gives us a level 4 with the Enrapturing Trance, which actually I don't think does anything because we don't have enough IDs that inflict Rupture with us. And come on, load in. We have to have them actually active as well. So I believe Base Greg is Rupture. Yep, Base Greg is Rupture. So we have... Hold up. I might have to redo this a bit. I think we only have 3. You're just... Oh, really? Base out of Structure. So we have 4 there. You're... Okay, you're nothing. You're, I think, Bleed. Maybe Poise. You're Tremor. I think Base Faust is nothing. You Song, I don't think is anything. Is Base Hung Loose sinking? Or I think Base Hung Loose sinking. I legitimately don't think we have enough Rupture IDs owned. Yeah, well. I mean, sure. Whatever, it's fine. I legitimately don't think we have enough Rupture IDs to make that work. Drifting Fox. Let me grab the log for Drifting Fox. How do I put it? My first impression of it was pitiful and poor. It looked like a huge wolf. No, fox, actually. It looked at us and growled. On its body, old umbrellas were stuck on it. Not one, several of them. It doesn't look like they were left by someone trying to attack it. If that were the case, the sharp parts would have lodged into its body first. I wonder if the handles of the umbrella were stuck into it. It seemed to be extremely wary of us. It looked like there were a lot of abnormalities that didn't show us animosity, but I don't think many of them stayed watchful like this one. And I'll stop here for now. The more the umbrellas opened, the fiercer the fox seemed to get. And particularly, sometimes it does nothing and waits, but the attack that comes afterwards is especially powerful. Huh. The fox sometimes cries, looking at the sky, howling for long. It's as if it's laying bare some kind of sorrow into the sky. It's not like I've talked to it or learned anything about its past, but every time I hear that sound, my heart aches so much. It's even worse when I break one of the umbrellas on its body, like my own heart is breaking. That's how it feels. Sinclair, what you experienced is simple loss of sanity during battle. Do not let the abnormality influence you. But the fox was different from the abnormalities we've fought. I'm sure it wasn't always hostile. You don't refer to it as a fox or dog. It's nothing more than an abnormality. You must get it confused with an animal you find in the city. Get over it. You think that fake fairy with a fat jelly bod was any easier to deal with? All we gotta do is fight and sleep as we're told. You're left dead trying to care about nonsense. We haven't seen that. I have no yet. But I realized that the fox was mad at those who only give it meaningless attention before leaving. Looking at poor abandoned things on the street and giving it nothing but an umbrella. People gave it such meager care and think themselves the greatest benefactors for it, feeding their own ego. That's what the fox was sad and angry about. I see where it's coming from. We have to take away the one umbrellas on that poor child and embrace ourselves. We didn't have a choice there. It seemed like something that could only snap after dying. Trails of blood could be seen on the log. Although the method was rather extreme, it certainly wasn't a condition that could be resolved in a short time otherwise. I like the fact that I don't know if that's actually what happened, but I like the implication that Heathcliff just like, shut the fuck up, Sinclair, and fucking killed him. I mean, hey, whatever works. Drifting Fox is also not terribly difficult, I wouldn't say. It doesn't roll super high. The big gimmick with this one is the umbrellas around it. Ow. Ow. This one does inflict quite a bit of sinking. Oh, come on. Boo. As we break them, the fox is a little bit weaker. They inflict a tiny bit of sinking. Oh, shit, never mind. It's a lot more sinking than I remembered. Whoops! Ignore me then. That's fine. Really? Oh, I suppose we're on that upside one. Like, really? That does so much? Not exactly. The umbrellas are also very easy for gaining yourself to... Ow. 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 For gaining sanity just because they are so weak at clashing. I think they have a max roll of 2. I literally think that there is nothing that can lose to the umbrellas. Ow. Come on. Yep. The reason that I mentioned painkillers, what painkillers do? Oh, so it'll lose or drop all of our sanity by a little bit. But the reason that the painkillers are good, when someone is staggered, they will gain 4 protection. Yeah, 4 protection and heal an 1/8 of their health. Which is just really good. It helps you survive a stagger. And generally, once you survive a stagger, you're pretty fine for the rest of the time. So yeah. Probably thinking something is really strong. But what I think I'm going to end up doing is we're just going to not let it hit. We just stagger the head. Try seeking something, won't be able to hit. And this is really only difficult because we're pretty low uptime on our things and also using base IDs. So we just don't roll very well. That really is just the biggest issue. We just don't roll very well right now because we have some pretty weak IDs. Well, yeah, weak IDs and Wild Hunt. Again, I don't think Drifting Fox is very difficult. I actually don't know if there's really any difficult abnormalities that we can unlock that we can even fight at this point. I don't really recall any. No. Grab ourselves a random tier 2 short cane sword. When you clash with slash, you will inflict attack level down. We're gonna grab lithograph. Lithograph is really good. When an enemy is staggered, the ally with the least HP will heal 5% of that. Let's grab ourselves... We'll grab that one because it has Phlebotomy Pack. Phlebotomy Pack is one of my favorite ones. Right here we can see that there's a special design here. This is marking that a specific abnormality will be fought. So, yeah. I'm going to just skip ahead to that. Yeah. So give me a bit. Really? This is Kanto 6 stuff right here, okay. Pick up the Bloody Gadget. The Bloody Gadget will apply 2 damage up to a random ally. It's pretty basic. I mean, there's a reason it's a tier 1. Well, it's a creepy-looking wood block. It's got blood all over. And papers, too. They weren't common, but I did see things like this in the back streets from time to time. What were they about? Curses? It was funny to me that some scallies actually believed that tosh. And I guess it wasn't a total load of bollocks seeing that thing with my own eyes. Chop of wood, the thing moves. I swore it was stiff as wood when we saw it in the mirror dungeon or whatever. Like props for a horror film. The attacks aren't much, but when you see a solid block of wood fly with the speed it does scare you a bit. Because like one hit could crack a bone or two. I'm not about to sit down and let it hit me. Core, why is it so bloody sticky? A substance that seems to be yellow glue or smidged around this part. That this bug would have posted flyers in the back streets for living as if we were human. For living if we were human. Does not been doing nothing but that for years, I guarantee you. Put several talismans on my body before I could notice. Damn it. Not sure if this creepy piece of paper pissing me off, but it felt a bit like the bat was working better. Whatever it was, it didn't feel like a bad thing. No, the talismans in my body moved to my bat too. I don't know how it worked, but I guess they wrapped around it. Anyway, this thing bugged me the more I hit it. I'm just gonna stress you gotta relieve by beating things, but this doesn't help. That's something only a thug would say. You really are crude. No, how's he holding his anger off when the comment's right up there? If I simply prevented him from looking at this, it would have been a waste to fill the space with useless information. That's our wise, bud. And by the way, I think I feel myself feeling strong with the talismans on me too, even if they didn't annoy me or make me feel anything. In the case, the talismans themselves may have some kind of effect. I'm gonna try attaching a lot of them on purpose. Damn, why are you telling me to write this separately? I could keep writing where I was, you know? For the special treatment, it's narking me. Forget it. I feel great turning that pile of wood into turn that wood block into a pile of firewood, so I'll let it slide this time. I'm trying to get a bunch of talismans out, like one suggests, but too many talismans actually weigh us down. It's really timely, like some others said. Instead, that wood block sometimes put up its guard instead of attack, you see? The little lad swung his halberd right then, and the talismans out and that weapon get pulled into the wood block. And it turned purple. And that's when I got it. I couldn't do anything, it kept putting papers on it, so it turned into regular firewood. Christian, the abnormality returned to its ovate form. And experimental activities such as it actually turned into a pile of firewood being lit on the fire took place. So that normal cry is also very easy. This is another one that I'm always confident in win rating. It doesn't roll particularly high, and its gimmick is around the talismans. But honestly, I don't really notice the talismans that much. Again, so the normal cry is very easy. I don't know if it's the easiest abnormality, but I think it's up there. I think it definitely is on the easier end of abnormalities. It's just quite weak in general. The talisman, you get attacked down at really high counts, but like, it's not good. It's very mid. So that normal cry is just pretty bad in general. I'm not concerned about it. Again, this is another one that I'm always confident in win rating. Yeah. That said, so that normal cry does have an interesting history behind it. In that it actually is the source of an ID. There aren't too many abnormalities that are sources of IDs, but so that normal cry is one of them, which led to the very infamous Talisman Sinclair. Talisman Sinclair is one of the few IDs that have been actively nerfed, because it pretty much ruined design for Rupture. It gives you the one doll and bone steak. That's the other one it gives. Start cavern. Some hard objects hitting each other loudly echo at random intervals. The noise is coming from 3 large skulls. They approach us clacking and rattling. No the body, so they roll. They make noises endlessly, even as they roll. From 3 skulls that rolled at our feet, we find they have different expressions. Should we choose one of them? Never mind, I think this is the bone steak. We'll grab it with Hongaloo. The angry-looking skull was lifted. Upset for whatever reason, it collided with teeth as if it was trying to bite at something in the air. All of a sudden, her hands felt lighter. Is this? The skull vanished into thin air, and the glowing object was left on the hands. Yeah, this is a bounce stick. What is the other thing that So That No One Will Cry gives? Because you get these vestiges when you get a duplicate of something. It's not lithograph. I think it... No, it's bloody gadgets. I actually don't remember what the other one is. No. Well, these oracles are pretty good. I enjoy Oracle for stuff. Phlebotomy pack. You heal an 1/8 of your HP on hit. It's super good. Orifice Grasp you would. Golden Earth. 20% extra cost. Also just very good in general. Ooh, Broken Greatsword. Slash gains +2 power. Yeah, we'll grab that. It's a level 4. And we'll hop on in here and see what we got for our boss. Again, alright. I'll skip past this. We'll grab another ego gift. Grab Scrags, sure. Phlebotomy pack. That's what I came here for. Sure. I'll grab this. And fuck you. I am not. No. Yeah, I'm honestly just gonna kind of speed through this. It is very late right now. I just want to finish doing this. Probably the way that I'm going to end up doing Mirror Dungeon in this is like I'm still gonna be doing them off screen. Do at least my weeklies. I'll get to exactly what that's all about in a moment. But at least do my weeklies for Mirror Dungeon. But I'm probably not going to have any of them recorded until we're on hard difficulty, or until Mirror Dungeon 6 comes out. Whichever comes first, honestly. But, yeah. Just know that I will be doing them off screen. But, yeah. That's really what matters. Honestly, I think it was a good thing I decided to skip the last few because, it was about an hour for the last 2 floors. I just got a pretty unlucky set of boss fights. Once you get to level 4, 5, that is your finish. By default, you'll have 30. However, there is the weekly bonuses. These do you get 3 per week, and they do change between normal and hard. On normal, you can only use them in each section, and I believe each one does give you 45 Battle Pass experience as opposed to 30 if you were to not use it. And it'll give you 250 lunacy as a reward. I think it's 45 for each. Meanwhile, once you get to hard, those numbers go way higher. Honestly, again, I'm going to be doing Mirror Dungeons off camera because I forgot how boring in comparison normal dungeons were. Hard dungeons are very fun, I find, but normal dungeons not so much. But yeah, Mirror Dungeon is your main way that you'll be getting your levels. You get about 12 levels a week from just doing your weekly bonuses on Mirror Dungeon. But for you get about 20. Yeah, you get about 20 just from the weeklies on hard. About 25, I think it is. You get a lot more. But regardless, that'll do it for this time. Next time we'll be going on to Canto 3. I may have done the rest of my weekly bonuses in the meantime. I don't know. But until